Hello friends. If you were born on January 29th, you belong to one of the most fascinating and enigmatic groups in the zodiac, the Aquarius tribe. As a proud child of Uranus, the planet of invention and disruption, your spirit thrives on change, creativity, and unconventional thinking. You aren't just another cog in the wheel, you are the wheel's redesign. This date sits in the heart of Aquarius season, giving you an extra dose of the sign's hallmark traits, intellectual curiosity, humanitarian ideals, and a deep-rooted need for personal freedom. But your personality is anything but generic. When we dig deeper, into love, sex, friendship, business, and your compatibility with other signs, what emerges is a portrait of someone born to inspire, challenge, and uplift. Let's begin your journey through the stars, numbers, symbols, and cosmic wisdoms that define the remarkable individuals born on January 29th. Love, the mind before the heart. For those born on January 29th, love begins not with sweeping romantic gestures or impulsive infatuation, but with a captivating conversation, a shared laugh over an obscure idea, or the discovery of a mind that challenges your own. You fall in love through the intellect, often long before emotions are fully engaged. Words matter to you, how someone expresses themselves, what books they've read, how they argue a point, and how their mind dances through a topic. These are your love languages. You crave a connection that is as cerebral as it is emotional, where mental compatibility acts as the foundation for deeper romantic involvement. People born on this day are natural thinkers and analyzers, and in matters of romance, you tend to apply the same thoughtful scrutiny to your heart. You don't fall easily, and you don't fall often. But when you do, it is with a unique mix of intensity and detachment. You may hesitate to express your emotions directly, fearing vulnerability or fearing that sentiment will cloud your clarity. Instead, you express love through acts of support, by encouraging your partner's goals, respecting their autonomy, and offering unwavering loyalty behind the scenes. You're the kind of partner who pushes your loved one to grow, who defends their individuality, and who stands beside them with quiet strength. Traditional notions of romance, like roses, candlelit dinners, or rigid gender roles, often feel a little stale to you. You want something deeper, something rooted in respect and shared ideals. You view relationships as partnerships, not ownerships. Equality is everything. You don't want someone to complete you, you want someone who complements you. Someone whose differences inspire curiosity, not conflict. Emotional expression, however, doesn't always come naturally to you. You often wear a cloak of cool composure, using intellect or humor to shield your deeper feelings. This can confuse potential partners, who may wonder whether you care as deeply as you actually do. But those who stick around and learn to read your subtle cues, who notice the way you always remember the little things, the way you go out of your way to help without making a fuss, the way you listen when no one else does, will discover the deep well of affection you keep guarded. The right partner for you is someone who understands that love, for you, is a form of freedom, not confinement. They'll need to be patient, intuitive, and intellectually curious. But if they earn your trust and meet you as an equal, they'll be rewarded with a love that is rare, resilient, and beautifully unconventional. Sex, experimental, playful, and free-thinking. Sex, for those born on January 29th, is never just about physical pleasure, it's an experience, an experiment, a dialogue between minds and bodies that transcends mere attraction. You approach intimacy with curiosity and playfulness, treating the bedroom not as a place for routine, but as a space for invention and discovery. You're driven by the thrill of the unexpected and the subtle art of seduction through wit, suggestion, and shared imagination. You are not bound by convention, either emotionally or sexually. What excites you most isn't a practiced move or a predictable rhythm, but novelty, surprise, and the willingness to try something different. Your erotic energy is subtle but persistent, built not on fiery dramatics but on an underlying current of playfulness and intrigue. You see physical intimacy as an extension of the mental and emotional connection you've built. If your mind is engaged, your body follows. If your intellect is bored, no amount of physical allure will be enough to hold your attention. What truly turns you on is originality, someone who brings a new perspective, who makes you laugh in the middle of passion, who isn't afraid to break the rules or rewrite the script. You're likely to enjoy discussing fantasies, experimenting with new sensations, or even blurring the lines between dominant and passive roles, always with respect and mutual consent. You don't like to be boxed into labels or routines, and your ideal sexual relationship is one where both partners feel safe to explore, evolve, and express. You're also more emotionally detached than some when it comes to casual encounters. You can enjoy the experience without needing to assign deep meaning to it, as long as there's mutual understanding. That said, in long-term partnerships, your creativity and loyalty shine brightest. You bring spontaneity, open-mindedness, and a deep desire to continually evolve together, never settling into monotony or habit. You're not the type to coast on routine. You want to reinvent the relationship again and again. The best lovers for you are those who are equally adventurous and intellectually alive, partners who can make you laugh, challenge your ideas, and never stop surprising you. They need to be flexible, curious, and as comfortable discussing philosophy as they are exploring passion. With the right partner, sex becomes not just a physical act, but a transformative connection, where you feel free to express all of who you are, both the grounded and the outrageous, the tender and the provocative. In the realm of intimacy, you are a free spirit with a loyal heart, someone who makes love with imagination and care, always seeking to create an experience that is as thoughtful as it is thrilling. You don't just want to be touched, you want to be understood, challenged, and delighted. And in return, you offer a sexual partnership that's endlessly inventive, emotionally safe, and completely unforgettable. Marriage, a partnership of equals. For those born on January 29th, marriage is not a destination, it's a dynamic journey between two equals. You don't view it through the lens of tradition, pressure, or societal expectation. Instead, you see marriage as an intentional alliance between individuals who respect one another's autonomy while choosing to grow together. To you, the ideal marriage isn't about possession or control, it's about shared evolution. You're not interested in becoming someone's better half, you're looking for a partner who is whole in themselves, and who respects that you are too. You often take your time deciding whether marriage is the right path. You may question its necessity altogether, preferring to forge your own definition of commitment rather than adopting what culture dictates. You're not likely to be swept away by fantasy or the idea of a perfect wedding. Instead, your focus is on compatibility, shared principles, and the ability to support each other's growth over time. For you, vows are not just romantic promises, they're philosophical agreements. If you say, "I do," it's because your heart, mind, and spirit are aligned. In a marriage, you bring immense strength. You are the partner who keeps pushing the relationship forward, intellectually, emotionally, and creatively. You're the one suggesting new experiences, initiating honest conversations, and encouraging your spouse to chase their own goals, not just joint ones. You'll never be content in a stagnant relationship, and you'll expect your partner to bring just as much energy and vision to the table. Equality is your non-negotiable. You need someone who values fairness, respects your independence, and isn't intimidated by your strong sense of identity. However, you also understand that true partnership doesn't mean always agreeing, it means having the emotional maturity to navigate differences with respect and curiosity. You are drawn to marriages where both people maintain their individuality and yet create something greater together. When you commit, it's with the intention to build a life that reflects your shared ideals, progressive, evolving, and deeply authentic. Your version of romance may not always be traditional. There may be fewer grand declarations and more quiet support, fewer public displays and more private affirmations, but the love you give is enduring, loyal, and fiercely real. Your spouse will never doubt that they are loved not just for who they are now, but for who they are becoming. For you, a fulfilling marriage isn't about fairy tales or fitting in. It's about choosing, every day, to walk beside someone who sees the world through a similar lens, who respects your freedom, challenges your thinking, and is willing to evolve with you, hand in hand, as equals. Friendship, your chosen family. Friendship, for those born on January 29th, is not about convenience or proximity, it's about connection, authenticity, and shared vision. You don't just collect friends, you carefully choose them based on something real, something resonant. To you, true friendship is sacred. It's a space where honesty thrives, where individuality is celebrated, and where loyalty is quietly but fiercely demonstrated. You're the type of friend who will never forget a meaningful conversation, who shows up when it counts, and who supports others not just emotionally, but intellectually and spiritually. You're often the person in the group who brings a different perspective, the one who challenges assumptions and encourages others to think outside the box. Your friends are drawn to your originality, your passion for ideas, and your refreshing sense of humor. They may come to you for advice, not because you always have the answers, but because you always ask the right questions. You don't offer empty platitudes, you offer truth, clarity, and a reminder of what matters most. Even though you care deeply, you don't cling. You value space in your friendships as much as you do in romance. You don't require constant attention or daily check-ins to maintain a bond. For you, friendship is about trust, trust that even with distance or silence, the connection remains strong. You are low maintenance emotionally, but high value in terms of depth, insight, and reliability. You understand that sometimes the best kind of love is the kind that doesn't need to be spoken every day, it's just understood. You're especially drawn to people who stand apart from the crowd, those who are unconventional, curious, and unapologetically themselves. You admire bold thinkers, creative spirits, and those who live with integrity. You may not have a huge social circle, but your friends are often as unique and inspiring as you are. Together, you form a sort of chosen family, a network built not on shared blood or background, but on shared ideals and mutual respect. When a friend is in need, your loyalty shines through in powerful, often understated ways. You'll show up without being asked, listen without judgment, and support them without seeking credit. You may not always express affection in overt ways, but your actions speak louder than any words. And those lucky enough to call you a friend will never forget how seen, valued, and supported they feel in your presence. Your friendship style is a blend of independence and intimacy, rebellion and reliability. You challenge the norm, yet you offer stability. You don't follow friendship rules, you write your own, guided by sincerity and purpose. And once someone earns a place in your heart, they're there for life, not just as a friend, but as chosen kin. Business, visionary with a plan. People born on January 29th are not here to play it safe, they're here to shape the future. Business, for you, isn't about tradition or climbing a well-trodden ladder, it's about disruption, innovation, and challenging the status quo. You are the kind of person who sees what others miss. You can look at a broken system and not only understand why it doesn't work, but also imagine something better. That makes you a powerful force in any industry that values thought leadership and bold change. Your mind is always 3 steps ahead, and you thrive in roles that let you ask, what if, rather than, how have we always done it? Bureaucracy and micromanagement are suffocating for your spirit. You require autonomy, flexibility, and trust. If you're confined by outdated rules or repetitive tasks, your spark begins to dim. But give you the space to think freely and the tools to execute your ideas, and you'll light up the room, and the market, with originality. Ideal careers for you are those that allow you to merge intellect with impact. You're drawn to fields like technology, where innovation is currency, humanitarian work, where you can advocate for justice, psychology or education, where you can explore human potential, and design or media, where your creativity gets to shine. Social change is your heartbeat. Whether you're coding an app that solves global problems or designing campaigns that shift public opinion, you need to feel that your work means something. Money matters, but meaning matters more. As a leader, you're refreshingly egalitarian. You don't lead with ego or dominance, you lead with vision. You're a democratic boss who encourages input, collaboration, and mutual respect. Your team knows that they are heard and valued, which fosters fierce loyalty. You reward innovation and initiative, and you're not afraid to take risks if they align with your ideals. You don't micromanage because you believe in people's potential. That trust earns you results that traditional management rarely achieves. As an employee, you're original, self-motivated, and resourceful. You may not thrive under rigid authority, but you excel in organizations that value creativity and evolution. You're the colleague who comes up with out-of-the-box solutions, who questions inefficiencies, and who quietly challenges everyone around you to think bigger. Your work ethic is strong when the mission aligns with your values. Without that alignment, though, you may lose interest and quietly move on to the next challenge. You're not interested in building empires for ego's sake. You're here to build something that matters, whether it's a startup that revolutionizes communication, a nonprofit that empowers marginalized communities, or an artistic venture that awakens thought and emotion. You are not only a dreamer, you're a doer with a plan. And your ability to turn bold visions into reality makes you a standout in any professional arena. Compatibility: who's your cosmic match? When it comes to compatibility, people born on January 29 are looking for something beyond surface attraction. You want a partner who is mentally alive, emotionally resilient, and spiritually expansive. You crave connection with someone who challenges you, intrigues you, and walks beside you, not behind or in front of you. Compatibility isn't about perfection for you, it's about growth, respect, and shared vision. Most compatible with Gemini. This is a meeting of minds, and it's electric. Gemini keeps you entertained, intrigued, and laughing. Conversation never dies, and both of you value freedom, change, and intellectual stimulation. You'll brainstorm together, challenge each other, and laugh your way through even the most chaotic days. The relationship feels light but meaningful, fun but never shallow. Libra. This is a relationship built on harmony and ideals. Libra brings balance and grace to your intensity, while you push Libra to think beyond tradition. Together, you make a beautiful, dynamic team that blends creativity, fairness, and social impact. Both signs love discussion, diplomacy, and beauty in all its forms, making your connection deeply fulfilling and aesthetically rich. Sagittarius. This is a match made in the stars for freedom lovers. You both seek truth, adventure, and purpose. Sagittarius brings fire and enthusiasm, while you bring vision and strategy. There's a natural rhythm between you, a shared desire to experience life fully, without cages or constraints. With honesty, respect, and plenty of room to roam, this pairing can go the distance. Aries. Bold and future-focused, Aries matches your energy stride for stride. You admire their fearlessness, and they admire your originality. While your approaches differ, Aries dives headfirst, while you strategize and reframe, the mutual respect is undeniable. Sparks fly fast, and if you can learn to navigate each other's intensity, this can be a passionate and progressive union. Challenging matches. Taurus. While Taurus offers stability and sensuality, their love of routine may conflict with your craving for change and innovation. You want movement, they want peace. You seek mental stimulation, they seek comfort. This pairing can work, but only with deep patience and a willingness to meet in the middle. Scorpio. Scorpio's emotional depth can feel intense and all-consuming, while your airy, cerebral nature prefers to process from a place of detachment. Scorpio may crave more vulnerability than you naturally offer, and you might find their possessiveness stifling. However, if you can bridge your emotional languages, the bond can be powerful, like two forces of nature learning to coexist. Cancer. Cancer's emotional sensitivity and your intellectual detachment may cause miscommunication. You thrive in logic and objectivity, while Cancer operates through emotion and intuition. They may see you as aloof, you may see them as overly reactive. Yet, if both parties commit to understanding the other's emotional framework, this pairing can offer surprising depth. Ultimately, you know that astrology is just a starting point. Love, to you, is built, not found. It's forged in mutual growth, trust, and the willingness to evolve. Even the most unlikely pairings can work with empathy and communication, and even the most compatible signs can struggle if growth is stunted. You believe that love is a living, breathing thing, one that requires intention, honesty, and the freedom to become something new. Numerology, the power of 11. If you were born on the 29th, you hold within you the rare and powerful energy of master number 11, a number that doesn't just whisper intuition and insight, but practically sings it. This number is often referred to as the illuminator, and for good reason. It represents an elevated state of awareness, a connection to higher purpose, and a deep, often mystical, understanding of the human experience. People with this vibration are not here to follow, they are here to lead, to spark change, to inspire others to awaken to something greater than themselves. The presence of the master number 11 amplifies your Aquarian nature in remarkable ways. Aquarians are already known for being forward-thinking and inventive, but with the energy of the 11, your thoughts aren't just creative, they're visionary. You have the ability to tap into universal truths and see potential in places where others see limitations. You're drawn to ideas that push humanity forward, and you carry the kind of energy that makes people stop and listen, even if they don't know why. You may feel called to spiritual paths, healing professions, activism, or anything that touches lives in a deep and meaningful way. However, the power of 11 is not without its shadows. With great vision often comes inner turmoil. This number carries a heightened emotional sensitivity, which means you can feel deeply conflicted between the ideal and the real, between your dreams and the day-to-day grind. You may find yourself struggling with anxiety, self-doubt, or emotional overload. The duality of 11, its ability to see both the highest potential and the harshest truths, can be overwhelming. But when you learn to balance this energy, it becomes your greatest asset. Instead of burning out, you burn brighter. You become a beacon for others, offering guidance, compassion, and clarity. Interestingly, the number 29 also reduces to 2 plus 9, which adds a powerful subtext to your numerological signature. While 11 is about enlightenment and spiritual awakening, the number 2 is about harmony, empathy, and partnership. It softens the intense fire of 11 with the emotional intelligence and diplomacy needed to work with others. You are not a lone wolf, even if you sometimes feel like one. You have the unique ability to connect on a heart level, to sense the emotional temperature of a room, and to build bridges where others see divides. This makes you both a seer and a healer, someone who not only dreams of a better world but helps others find their place in it. In the full expression of your numerological gifts, you are more than just smart or talented, you're inspired. You're the kind of person who changes lives simply by being authentic, someone whose presence stirs people to think deeper, feel more, and imagine what's possible. You may not always feel understood, but when you lean into your truth, you don't need to be. You were born to elevate, to create, and to awaken. That's the gift, and the responsibility, of the master number 11. Celtic Tree Horoscope Druid Zodiac, the Rowan Tree. In the ancient wisdom of the Druid Zodiac, those born between January 21st and February 17th fall under the protection and symbolism of the Rowan Tree. This is not just any tree, it is known as the Tree of Visionaries, a sacred symbol of insight, transformation, and silent strength. As a Rowan-born soul, your energy is deeply aligned with thought, awareness, and purpose. You're not here to simply live life, you're here to question it, to reimagine it, and to lift it to something higher. In every sense, you are the thinker, the challenger, the quietly blazing force in a world often content with the status quo. The Rowan Tree speaks to those who feel like outsiders, not because they don't belong, but because they see and sense things others miss. You've likely always felt a little different, a little apart. But that separation gives you perspective, allowing you to view life from a unique vantage point. You don't just accept traditions or norms, you examine them, test them, and often reject them in favor of something more authentic. Like the rowan itself, which thrives in rugged, high-altitude environments, you are resilient, elegant, and quietly powerful. You're the person who can endure harsh conditions while still nurturing others with wisdom and clarity. In Celtic mythology, the rowan was considered a guardian tree, often planted near homes to ward off darkness and invite spiritual protection. This mirrors your own energy. People are drawn to you not just for your intelligence, but for your clarity and your calm. There's something quietly reassuring about your presence, something that makes others feel both seen and safe. You carry a kind of psychic armor, not flashy or loud, but undeniably strong. Whether you're helping a friend navigate a crisis or developing a radical new idea that can shift collective thinking, you do so with grace and deep inner fire. Your rowan connection also emphasizes your mission to spark consciousness. You aren't satisfied with surface-level conversations or empty rituals. You want to know what lies beneath. You want truth, even if it's uncomfortable. And when you find it, you don't keep it to yourself, you share it, not to preach, but to invite others into a more awakened state of being. You might find yourself drawn to philosophy, science, spirituality, or art, anything that allows you to bridge intellect with meaning. You are, in essence, a messenger between worlds, the seen and the unseen, the old and the new. More than anything, your rowan nature supports your Aquarian destiny. Both the tree and your zodiac sign are rooted in transformation, idealism, and the desire to uplift society. You were born with the courage to be different, the insight to see beyond illusions, and the fire to help build something better. Even when the world feels heavy or off course, you remain rooted in your values, just like the rowan in windswept highlands. You know that evolution is possible, and in your quiet, powerful way, you help make it inevitable. Flower horoscope, orchid. Your flower is the orchid, a stunning, almost otherworldly bloom that embodies the perfect blend of mystery, grace, and unshakable inner strength. Just like the orchid, you carry an air of enigma. People may be drawn to your elegance and presence but may not fully understand the layers beneath. You aren't someone who reveals everything all at once. Instead, you unfold slowly, and only for those who've earned the right to witness your full bloom. Your thoughts are complex, your emotions nuanced, and your vision for life uniquely refined. This makes you a rare spirit in a world that often favors the predictable and the obvious. The orchid doesn't thrive just anywhere, it flourishes in specific, sometimes challenging environments. And so do you. You may have felt, at times, like life hasn't handed you the most obvious path. But your ability to adapt to unusual circumstances, to find beauty and meaning where others might see only obstacles, is a hallmark of your soul's strength. Your resilience doesn't announce itself loudly, it exists in how you continue to evolve despite uncertainty, how you create growth in places that once felt barren. You're not flashy about your power, but it's unmistakably there, rooted deeply and blooming with grace. The orchid also represents refined taste and artistic sensibility. You likely have an eye for aesthetics, a love for detail, and a deep appreciation for what is rare and meaningful. This can manifest in your personal style, your home environment, or even the way you communicate, choosing your words with precision, depth, and intention. Like the orchid, you don't seek attention for the sake of it. You shine naturally, often when you're simply being yourself. And when others truly see you, they're captivated, not by loudness, but by your quiet radiance and magnetic depth. You're a soul that's cultivated, intentional, and unforgettable. Birthstone crystal guidance. Your traditional birthstone is the garnet, a gem with a rich, wine-red hue that pulses with energy, passion, and ancient protection. For someone born under the sign of Aquarius, garnet is not just beautiful, it's grounding. While your thoughts often soar into the visionary and abstract, this stone helps pull that electric energy back down to earth, giving your ideas roots and focus. Garnet is a stone of motivation, reigniting your drive when you feel scattered or drained. It supports courage in decision-making, helping you move forward with clarity and purpose, especially when your boldest ideas require you to step into unknown territory. But garnet isn't only about action, it also speaks to the heart. It nourishes your emotional core, reigniting a sense of confidence when self-doubt creeps in. Its protective energy creates a buffer between you and the chaos of the outside world, allowing you to maintain emotional equilibrium. For Aquarians, who can sometimes get lost in the mind, garnet brings you back to the fire of your own instincts and passions. It reminds you that brilliance doesn't come from intellect alone, but from integrating your thoughts with your deepest desires and values. Another powerful ally in your spiritual toolkit is amethyst, a crystal that mirrors your ruling planet, Uranus, and connects directly to your intuitive and mental realms. Amethyst is often considered the stone of spiritual awakening, making it the perfect partner for someone whose life is about expanding consciousness and seeking truth. This crystal has a calming energy that soothes mental overdrive. When your thoughts race ahead of the moment, amethyst gently quiets the noise and makes space for clarity. It deepens your connection to your higher self, enhancing insight, creativity, and your innate sense of universal timing. More than just a spiritual aid, amethyst also supports emotional balance. It encourages calm in times of stress and offers a peaceful clarity during moments of internal chaos. For the Aquarian soul, who often feels the tension between innovation and inner restlessness, this stone acts as an anchor in the storm. Its connection to the crown chakra means it also enhances your connection to higher wisdom, perfect for those who seek to not only understand the world but help shape it. Together, garnet and amethyst offer the perfect duality, fire and spirit, drive and vision, grounding and transcendence. Vedic Astrology Jyotish View. In the sacred and ancient system of Vedic astrology, your soul's imprint likely falls under the nakshatra known as Shatabisha, an enigmatic lunar mansion steeped in themes of healing, mysticism, and raw, unfiltered truth. This nakshatra, whose name translates to the 100 physicians, or the 100 healers, suggests that your very presence carries the potential to mend what is broken, be it in society, within relationships, or in the deeper spiritual fabric of those around you. Shatabisha natives are not ordinary seekers, they are guardians of hidden wisdom. You're instinctively drawn to knowledge that exists beyond the surface, to truths buried beneath tradition, and to the silent currents that shape our collective evolution. Shatabisha is governed by the shadowy planet Rahu, also known as the north node of the moon, a celestial force associated with obsession, innovation, illusion, and breaking boundaries. This influence infuses your personality with an electric charge, one that feels both futuristic and uncontainable. You see things others don't. You ask the questions society avoids. And you're willing to walk the road less traveled, especially if it leads to awakening or liberation. This Rahu-driven nakshatra gives you an uncanny ability to blend science with spirituality, logic with intuition, and tradition with rebellion. You're likely fascinated by systems of thought that challenge norms, quantum physics, astrology, psychology, or sacred geometry, and you're not afraid to dive deep into the metaphysical unknown. At your core, you are a spiritual disruptor, a visionary who knows that healing doesn't always come through comfort, it often comes through confrontation, revelation, and revolution. Your rebel spirit is not impulsive or chaotic. It's directed. It's driven by a desire to correct what's broken, to expose what's hidden, and to challenge what's stagnant. You don't seek power for ego, you seek truth for evolution. You may find yourself resisting societal roles that feel restrictive, and you're unlikely to conform just to fit in. Instead, you move to the rhythm of cosmic intelligence, often ahead of your time, guided by an internal compass that prioritizes integrity and innovation over acceptance. Your dharma, your soul's mission, isn't about following. It's about forging paths. Those with strong Shatabisha energy are here to act as catalysts, to peel back illusions and hold space for transformation. You may not always be understood, and that's okay. You're not here to be ordinary. You're here to awaken the extraordinary. Whether as a teacher, healer, artist, inventor, or activist, your impact comes from your refusal to look away from the deeper truths and your courage to speak them out loud. In the eyes of Jyotish, you are a storm and a sanctuary, a bearer of thunderous insight and quiet wisdom. Final thoughts. Being born on January 29th means you're anything but ordinary. You're a mosaic of intellect and intuition, innovation and empathy, rebellion and responsibility. Whether seen through the lens of Western astrology, numerology, the Celtic and Vedic systems, or symbolic guides like flowers and gemstones, your soul carries the unmistakable signature of a visionary. You're not here to follow paths. You're here to question them, challenge them, and often create your own. Love, for you, begins with the mind and grows with authenticity. In sex and marriage, you thrive in spaces where freedom and connection are equally honored. As a friend, you are loyal, curious, and unforgettable. In business, you are a natural-born problem solver with ideas that can change the world. You embody the dual power of the number 11, able to inspire, lead, and lift others with your insight, while also navigating the emotional complexities that come with deep spiritual awareness. Your nakshatra, your flower, your crystals, all echo the same truth: you are here to elevate consciousness, to heal through knowledge, and to light the way for others. So embrace your uniqueness. Trust your vision. And never forget, what makes you different is exactly what makes you powerful. The world needs more minds like yours, more hearts like yours, and more voices willing to challenge the silence. January 29th isn't just a birthday, it's a birthright. One of purpose, potential, and profound impact.